everyone, good morning. It's 7 a.m. here in the Pilates studio. Welcome to my channel. I'm Hilda. I'm a certified movement trainer, and today I'm going to show you a few beginners exercises on the reformer. How do you get started? What are the basic exercises to do? And if you are an intermediate or advanced practitioner, you can also do the same as a warm-up. So without much ado, let's get started. The first exercise is called feet in straps. Now there are many ways of doing feet in straps, many variations. I'm going to show you the beginner variations today, about 3 or 4 of them depending on how I feel. But in any case, it works on the hip disassociation. The pelvis and the hips are to be disassociated when it moves. When in daily life, we don't want to pull our pelvis along when we walk or run or do hiking, for instance, because what we want is the pelvis to provide the kind of support so that our legs are free to move as it should in the socket. Okay, so this exercise will help us to achieve more of that functional ability of our pelvis to leg movement through our hip joints. To get started, we first need to adjust the springs to the right intensity for the exercise. In this case, I use 1 red, 1 blue, which is more or less medium intensity. Then you lay down on the reformer. Put your feet on the bar first, push out, keep tension on one leg while you put the strap on the other. And then make sure as you put the strap on the second leg, the first one continue to push to keep the tension, to control the carriage from moving. Straighten your legs out to 45 degrees. Try to feel the lengthening at the back of the knee and slowly start to point the feet. You will feel a gentle stretch on the front part of your legs, lengthening all the way from the hip joint to your toes. Stay there for a few seconds and let your legs continue to lengthen. And then gradually you move on to flexing. As you flex, you feel the extension from the back of your sit bones to your heels. Transition between flexed and point in about 2 counts. 2 counts each. 2 counts point, 2 counts flex. Keep going to try to gain some maximum length in your legs. And slowly, keeping the point, you start to move your legs up and down from the hip joints. Now, as you can see, I put my hands on the hip joint or the pelvis, the side of the pelvis, to make sure that it doesn't tilt as the legs move down. The legs need to be able to move freely in the hip sockets. And this is what we try to achieve, the functional movement of the legs moving freely in the socket so that the pelvis is able to stabilize us as we walk, leaving the legs to move freely in its space. That is the femur head. Now keep going, flexing the feet and lengthening forward and up and down. Slowly and up and down. Feel like your legs are going further and further each time, lengthening through the heels. You will feel a gentle pull in your hamstrings. That's a good thing, because here we want to try to get maximum length. Now then we start to transition to frog. Bring your heels in together, externally rotate your legs and start to push forward through your heels, keeping the external rotation here. So as you push forward, feel your inner thigh gently engaged. Make sure you keep your heels at the same height. Imagine there's a table under the heels. And your legs stay at the same angle, not bobbing up and down. From here, you start to straighten your legs and go up and down, pushing through your heels while keeping the external rotation. You might feel a greater sense of stretch in your inner thigh, and that's a good thing. So if you feel that, add one more thing, that is to imagine your inner thighs on both sides are coming together towards the center. This way you are increasing the engagement of your deep stabilizing muscles. Keep going up and down, moving from the hip joints. When you're ready, bend your knees, and to take the strap out, do one leg at a time. Take out the strap on one leg, put on the bar for control, and gently bring up the other one. We're going to be doing supine arm arcs and supine abdominal next. Now, both exercises use the same spring, so I'll be flowing from one to another. So in supine arm arcs, we will be working on the arm rotation in the shoulder joints and also our triceps, and also these corresponding muscles so that help us to strengthen the back muscles, actually the upper back muscles, as well as our underarm muscles, which are really important to keep our shoulders down. Gentle reminder, if you have shoulder impingement or some kind of inflammation in your shoulders, tissue tear, or even any plate in your shoulders as a result of some accident and surgery at all, please consult your physical therapist, your doctor, or anyone with medical background before you attempt the supine arm arcs exercises, just to be very safe. And in supine abdominals, we will be working on the beginner's version of integrating our arms to our chest, roll it up so that we can better engage with our core. And I will throw in one slightly intermediate version there just for you to have a go. Just because you're beginners doesn't mean that you don't need to challenge yourself. So do the beginner's version and try one intermediate version at the end. See how it goes. You never know. You might like it and go, oh, this is something I can work towards. And, you know, it's a motivation, at least for me, to keep getting better at what I do. For supine arm arcs and supine abdominal, I'll be using one rep, which is medium intensity. But unlike the feet in straps, it is a little bit lighter, because for arms, we actually need to work in a slightly lower intensity. Straighten your arms up with the fingers pointing to the ceiling. And from here, we press our arms down. Make sure the elbow and the wrist are in one line. And when the arms are pressed down, make sure the fingers are pointing forward. We are mobilizing the arms in the shoulder joint here. Now, as you do that, make sure your arms do not press down onto the carriage, but leave a hovering space of 1 inch off the surface. Keep going a couple more times, and then we transition to an A-shaped arm press, which means we open up our arms diagonally like an A shape and bring it in until the palm face in to the side of the hips. So it's a bit like taking off and flying. Your arms need to be at a 45-degree angle or diagonal line. And from here we transition to a T-shaped press, which means your arms, when pulled out, are in line with your shoulders. And when you bring it in, the palms face each other towards the side of the hips. This we are working on the bigger muscles at the side of our body. Again, make sure the straps do not pull the arms all the way back because of the weight of the spring. The straps naturally would do so. We need to control with our muscles and our core connection. Okay, now from here, we will start to do tricep press. Bend our elbow, Put our upper arm close to our body and straighten out by straightening from the elbow, bringing the arms down with fingers pointing forward. Now in this exercise, make sure the upper arm is very close to the upper body. The upper body is sort of like your leverage for the upper arm to stay still. As we bend our elbows, the tendency is to bring our upper arm down to rest on the carriage. Now make sure we don't do that because we want to build strength. So we take a little rest because that was quite a lot. And we are ready, we're going to go again. So prep up your arms with the fingers pointing to the ceiling. Flex our feet this time. Connect deeper to our core and press our arms down. As we do that, curl our head, neck, shoulders up. Make sure you feel like you are really engaging the legs by pressing into an imaginary wall in front. That will keep us connected to our core. And as we roll up, feel like our ribs are connected to our pelvis. So stretch your arms forward and straighten the legs out and back. Curl up, stretch your legs and your arms, fingers pointing forward. Curl your chest up higher and curl down. And again, curl the chest up higher and down. Engaging the core, scooping the belly in. Sharp legs, sharp arms. See if you can curl up higher this time by pushing more into the strap. And return. From here, we're going to continue with one more rep. So here comes the intermediate version. Extend both legs out to the front and start to move them equally up and down in the hip socket while keeping the abdominal scoop, the chest curled up and fingers pointing to the front. You can repeat one more set of this and you feel your abdominal fire up. Look at it, the sun is out and it's 8:15 now. So isn't it beautiful? It's a beautiful Saturday today, and if you're watching this video on any other day than Saturday, still a beautiful day. So this is all I have for this particular video on beginner's guide to reformer, or if you're advanced or intermediate practitioner, do revisit this as your warm-up. I'm going to be continuing with my next video on more intermediate versions of studio Pilates exercises. So if you like more videos like this, do check out my other videos on movement education, bite size, that will talk about spine, posture, shoulder care, and I will be explaining a little bit about anatomy so that you will know what you're doing in your exercises, what's happening in your body. At the same time, some exercises that will help you make sense of the principles I mentioned here. And yeah, see you in my next video, and I hope you will join me in growing my channel. Subscribe and give it a thumbs up if you find any of this helpful. Do you give me any suggestions you might have to help me improve my content? And yeah, I will see you next time in my next video. Thank you.